Would you be willing to share, Jesse? Like, just say no. I think I asked you this last week, but I was kind of in a blackout. I was like, hey, next time you come out, would you be okay talking about the fact that recently, like, you were kind of off the grid for a little bit and stuff like that? Like, there's a lot of kids listen, and like they go up and down and stuff, and like,
oh, absolutely,
you've been struggling with stuff, and like, you're are you on the wagon now? You want to talk about that stuff? Like, where are you at right now?
About sobriety?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
like what you've done, where you've plummeted, what you're back from, where you are. It's okay if where you are now is lost. Like, but also just say, no, I don't want to talk about that. I want to have fun and not do that. But if you.
No, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely, some lows and some highs. I mean, talking about politicians for a brief moment, they're a crazy bunch these days. I am someone who I can say has slept with not only Kamala Harris, but also Lindsey Graham. And, there's some freaks in the Senate.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, yeah.
Yes. But listen.
Lindsey Milligram.
Yeah, Lindsey Mellencamp. But listen, I want to say... That no, Dan, from my heart, honestly, like life. That's what makes life is that you have amazing highs, and then the rest is like lessons in humility, and both are great and necessary. And so, and first off, one other thing, just as a human being, Harmontown, the movie, is such a courageous movie, and you, if anything, have always, and I mean just from the bottom of the heart, and why, I just want to say that you being such a courageous person and just, letting everything out there so people can learn from it is such a beautiful thing. I'd be honored,
it's not really a selfless act. Like, I appreciate it. I'm alive because I found out that I can say what is on my mind, and like I'll live longer than if I bottle it up. And that's why I just, because you were missing for a little bit.
Absolutely.
Like Jeff, didn't you find him? I mean, it's like
you
you were withdrawn, and you were.
And Jesse, like, tell me, like, if you don't want to talk about it, but like your sister called me up and said you went off the grid. And she said, like, where's Jesse? And text him, and I did, but you didn't have your phone. And then one day, I got a fucking awesome text from you, and you're like, hey, man, and you were just cracking jokes, and you were back.
Yes.
And what's the story?
Oh, yeah.
The story about, can we tell the story about
people would draw a lot of value from that if you've been to dark places, but if you don't want to talk about it, it takes you back to a dark place to talk about it, then it accomplishes the opposite of the intention.
No, not at all. I'm guys, honestly,
but
I'm honored.
We were real fucking worried about you, and we put the bat signal out and says, where's Jesse?
Yes.
And then you told me when you texted me, I called you, and you said, it's like finding out what it would be like to die, because I find out how much people would care about me. And and you go, oh, like these are the people that would care if I died.
Don't mistake that as advice for the youth or anything. Like, hey, you know what you should try? But
you found out that like there are people, because I think of you, Jesse, as somebody, and my joke is always that you would give me the 7 shirts off your back. But you're that kind of friend. You would do anything for a friend.
Yeah.
And then you found out who your friends were when you went off the air.
As far
for a
as
while.
I understand, like it's pretty obvious from your personality. Sorry, I know we're explaining you to you, but like I think it's the thing that draws me to the reason I want to hear about any things that you've battled is because of this, because you're a really nice guy, and I don't know you that well, but I feel like it's like seawater, where like from a drop like what the content of an ocean is, and that you're not a judgmental person. You don't put a lot of energy out towards like worrying about other people and how they should be in order for you to be happy.
No,
and it's important for people to learn that there's or to deal with the fact that like people like if that hurts, I feel like there's too many people in our society that like are like that. Like, look, I don't want to judge other people and all this stuff. There's like that comes with a lot of self-loathing, a lot of self-torture, like directing a lot of energy inward, where you're like, I'm a piece of shit, so I'm just gonna like medicate and like vanish, and I'm sick of this. So, anyways, that's why I'm like. That's why I think it could be so valuable to talk about, because
absolutely. So in order to I'll tell you guys the whole story. In order to put it properly in perspective, But I don't in any way want to throw my sister under the bus either, because she is a fantastic person with her own demons too. But so basically, from like about 2015 through like the end of 2016, I've been working with my sister on a new series, and it had been going amazing. I mean, we had and we still all, it's still all there, and it can, and we're still working on putting it together. But we basically, I had worked really hard on this project with my sister, and for some reasons, and to be really blunt, I was really kind of like on the verge of making a comeback that had been like 15 years in the making. But what I'm trying to get to is that, my sister and I kind of had a falling out over some crazy stuff, or she really went into a dark patch, and then, we couldn't see the show to fruition for a moment, and I kind of just fell into a depression, and I had been sober for about, and when I say sober, I just mean like no hard substances, and I don't consider marijuana, and I don't consider, like alcohol, to really be a drug. But at the same time, anything that you abuse and anything that's basically just numbing you in your pain without allowing you to grow at all, I mean, that's an addiction, and that's a drug. And so what I'm getting into is that I did kind of like fall into a year and a half drug addiction with a drug that I hadn't touched in over like 7.5 years, because I was just, the fallout from, just things with my sister, and then everything, I just kind of fell into depression. But where I'm going with all of that is, so then I I was using some heavy drugs for like almost a year and a half, and then I ended up kind of just, in Fontana, California, as one does. And,
nothing good happens in Fontana, by the way.
So,
Fontana
rich man's
has
NASCAR.
its own 24-hour auto zone. So think about what that's telling you.
You need headphones to live there, right? The only time I've been to Fontana, I had headphones on the entire time.
Oh, well,
get
this. If you want your car fixed relatively dirt-ass cheap, all you got to do is, and wait until it's about 10, because the freaks come out at night, but you go to the 24-hour auto zone in Fontana after 10, and basically there are tons of people really high on supplements in the parking lot, either working on their own car or just hoping that someone might need work done on their car.
Yeah, because when you called me, you said
I'm telling you, get 4 of these after-hour AutoZone, mechanics in the parking lot, like together, and you'll have a new engine in a car in like 2 hours. For like $100 and maybe a bag of flaming hot Cheetos, So I'm telling you.
When you called me, you were at a pick apart in Fontana, right?
That was way after. That was a couple years into things.
All right.
I mean, so this is where the story gets good. Is that I think that, and again, I don't in any way mean to slag my sister, she.
But just use your I statements. That's what I've learned. If she's a part of the story, but you can still say, "Look, I was
That's
hurt.
Great.
I felt bad or whatever."
That's great.
Then you don't have to worry about slagging her.
That's great. Well, exactly. I mean, during my time of depression, I didn't have much, of a relationship, with my sister much either, and she was kind of in her own dark place too, and so I think that's why I had really kind of become despondent, and because this was my creative partner, my best friend, and my sister, and so I really missed her so much, and we were really on the verge of some really cool things, and so I mean, so what I was gonna say is this is that Wow. I know that this does sound like not many brain cells are in here, but I'm really trying to just...
It sounds like it's important and people are listening and they've been through way worse, believe me, as far as quality of show. Like,
okay.
they're listening and they're fine.
Well, then
and you can take your time and find the words.
I just, met this Anita Baker impersonator named Tito, and that's a whole other chapter for another podcast. But I'll tell you this. Jeff, by the way, Tony, what's your friend? The friend that works at the car wash with the obnoxious mustache?
What?
Oh.
That puts the turtle wax in it?
Oh, no. This is how Jeff finds out the mustache is obnoxious?
We're going back. But,
I hope we have a friend.
He loves that mustache.
we do.
I would love to have a friend with a...
His name is Tommy Tango, and he says hello. You know Tommy T.
I don't, but thank you.
Yo.
The mustache.
But guys, getting. Oh wow! You see, that's myself. Honestly, that's a defense mechanism because it's easier to joke.
Jesse,
and I'm going to get into the real heavy stuff.
Okay.
And so,
you can also pull up and out, and we'll touch
don't
back on it
want to,
another
yeah.
day.
Okay, but I think like. We're almost right at the end, and so just 2 more seconds, guys.
Yeah.
We'll be over the waterfall and in our own.
We're doing it.
Do you like you tell us as much as you want because first of all, I'm happy you're back.
Yeah.
Because I was worried about you, and also
America's happy I'm back. Am I right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
USA.
Thank you.
But as
Definitely
Dan,
didn't have to coax that one.
as Dan said, and quite rightly, the to the extent that you are willing to share what you went through, I think is helpful to people that listen to our show. So like not to sound corny, but like 16-year-olds.
Absolutely. I'd really, without sounding corny about this, I mean, like just to put it in real, like, black and white Cliff Note terms, I'd been working with my sister who I still love and adore. And we made this insane project where, we have, of course, the Jeff Davis appearance, but everything from, Miley Cyrus to George Clinton to Alice Cooper, lots of really cool interviews and crazy sketches and, me at Charlotte Hornets games and, in West Virginia, Appalachia. It's like just a whole crazy show project that we're making. And then we had this big fallout. And so, I just equate it to if you were a part of a band and you guys had been through this journey and were about to finally release your record, the band, breaks up and the record is shelved. That's just a head state. But you know what? The more I'm talking about this, I just want to say, fuck me, because these are really quality problems to have, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's not so much about the project. It's about just losing, my sister who, you guys just, was like my right arm,
What's your status with her right now?
No, we don't really talk at all, and so
she was freaked out, man, because I barely know her.
Yeah.
And she was texting me.
When I was in Fontana, I had actually left my phone in a car of a dude, and then I didn't really exactly know how to get it back, and kind of was just again in a depressed state. So I kind of was all right, I'm gonna enjoy not having a phone, and this was only about 9 days. And then, but it was honestly, it felt kind of cool, to not have a phone. And I was just really sorting through, my problems. And so I also kind of during that time without the phone, I made a decision mentally to be okay, I'm stopping doing the drugs that I was doing completely. And, I because at the end of the day, I was doing that to get myself through a hurdle. I was doing an upper type of drug. And what I'm getting at is, if you all of a sudden, you find yourself alone, but you'd made all this, great progress and you didn't want to lose everything, but you were just really confused how to move on without your band, my thinking is, well, let me do this drug that will kind of help focus me and numb, my sadness over what happened. Cause it was a really, like emotional thing. And,
So you first turned to a project-oriented narcotic.
Yes, exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. That's an interesting explanation of that.
Yes, definitely.
Is the project the thing that when you invited me to the Whiskey to meet LA Guns?
Yes.
So you still have all that footage?
Oh, it's all there. Yeah.
It's going to be great.
I'm learning how to edit it now. I got years of content.
You go backstage to a rock show with Jesse Camp, and guess what? Everybody is happy that Jesse's there, and he has all this awesome footage of him and his sister interviewing people and just talking backstage. And that is something that I would absolutely need to see.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
But is it still extant? It'll happen still, or no?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it's a really cool project. It's kind of like Mike Judge's Tales from the Tour Bus. In that you have crazy rock stuff interweaving with just basically fun travel segments, going to weird flea markets in Knoxville, Tennessee, and helping out in the wig department there with senior ladies.
Watching famous rockers meet you, because I've seen that.
Yeah,
and it's pretty magical. That's something that should happen, because to know you is to love you, and to know you is also to know that you would always make things happy and fun. So you have to finish this thing.
Well, let me.
Oh yeah. Super quick, you guys. What I want to say is that basically during those. So this is the funny part about me. This is the part of the story where I find out that I was a missing person, because I had no idea. Okay, because I guess, I had emailed, get this, okay? Because I am very close with my mom.
So just about, you're 9 days gone.
9 days gone.
You lost the phone, and you're like, no phone's a good thing. 9
days gone to paint the picture. So I'm in Fontana.
Are you editing? Are you working on a laptop on meth, or and you're like, no, yeah, okay. You're just
living life just
you're just focused.
Yeah,
you're experiencing focus.
When we talk about the fashion, and I'm not bragging out of school here, but Jeff knows this too. I'd have to cross-diagnose myself with another addiction, and that's I'm a thrift store junkie. And
you're wearing a jacket right now that can only be described as Annie Get Your Gun meets Wild Bill Hickok.
Yeah, with a little Nell in there. I thought Jodie Foster. I mean, who wouldn't want to be the costume designer on Nell? It's just bed sheets. Okay, the thread count.
John
good.
Bon Jovi.
Yes. Oh, great story here. Great shout out. And here's another thing. I really want to put my services out there. If you guys, because when I was here right before Christmas, you guys had Pete Holmes on. That was epic, brilliant show. I love. One other talent is that I think of myself as a mini Booker, and I'm not talking about Richard Grieco's character on the last season of 21 Jump Street, whose name was Booker. Okay. A lot of
that was a reference for two people here.
Yes. Misread the crowd there. Okay. But no, I mean, you guys are more of a Gilmore Girls kind of bunch, and that's cool with me, Do you guys know that Dan guest starred as Mailman Jerry on 2 unaired episodes of Gilmore Girls? Very, very cool stuff, It's only shown in Japan for reasons Dan knows a little about, and so does Lauren Graham.
Do you want to talk about that?
Hey, no, let me
get back on track. Just
back on track. Is it so I am 6 basically it's 9 days after I had lost my phone and said just fuck it, in that, and then 3 days sober from that. But then so I was 3 days sober. I started to get a bit of a sinus infection, and so I went to a hospital. Yeah, I shouldn't say, but it's very close to Fontana, and it has its own hospital and 2 Goodwills and a Savers, and it starts with an R, and it's its own county. Okay, Riverside. I was in Riverside. I go into the hospital, And like,
and you had been missing for months, as far as I knew. Like, yeah.
No, we should suffix this. So basically, my sister had only briefly talked with my mom that she hadn't heard from me. My mom and I do talk on the reg, and so then I think my sister did. I think her imagination, but maybe genuine concern, maybe some guilt, whatever. She was really worried that because she knew I was depressed. I mean, like she did know that, and so I mean, I think that she maybe genuinely was worried that I maybe did something rash because I was so broken up about, just it's a really rough situation.
I don't think people that want to hurt you, no business in your relationship, but people that want to hurt you, and have the choice between finding you. It's one thing to say. Like, I come from a big line of like, well, let's be dramatic about so-and-so's problem and like want to help them because actually what we're doing is we're weaponizing our like concern because they're here every Christmas and let's fuck with them. But it's another thing to be off the. Not knowing your sister, I can safely say I don't think it was her animosity that provoked her to explain to people how dire it was that you were missing.
She was very concerned with me. She texted me and let me know that she was really worried.
I think if you wanted to hurt somebody and they're off the grid, whether it's 9 days or 3 months, like it's not the part of you that hates them that makes you go, this is really serious. Even if it's not really serious from your point of view, it's not the part of them that hates you that makes them go to that high note. That's the part of them that wants you found because maybe even the part of her that feels a little bit of responsibility. And I think that's very salvageable as much as this project too, and easily salvageable. And like what? Not to like conduct your fucking story, but like. The feeling of that rope coming back out of that, like, and this idea of like you didn't know you were missing, and then you continue.
Dan, absolutely. So I'm in this hospital, and I think I gave my a variation on my name. I don't remember. I was not. Oh man, I love a good emergency room, and so I was in one, and. Basically, like, they were you know what? Screw that. This hospital was really a beautiful place. There's a hospital. I don't know how many.
They asked one thing of you. Don't name our county.
Right.
We've got 2 Goodwills and a great emergency room, and you're like, Riverside. And now every fucking asshole.
You got rumbled in there because you said the other name, but they go, but you're Jesse.
Yes, exactly. And so basically, I told the nurse that my name was, maybe John Camp. I don't even know. Not again, just for just because you know what I mean. Who wants to give your real info and social security number to a hospital?
You told them your actual name, but they're like, but aren't you Jesse?
Right. So I said probably that because my full name is Tito Camp, and so basically. Said I'm Tito Camp, and then they're like, okay, Tito. But like the nurse looked at me like she kind of like knew who I was, which was really weird because I was, a little disheveled perhaps. Or then again, I don't look much different than now. I'm very much a kindred spirit with a drunk Gary Busey. But where I was going with this is that so basically then the nurse is like, okay, all right. Josh. I think I said I was Josh because that's very close to my my full name, which is
Chad would have been believable.
Yeah, I look like Chadwick.
You look so much like a Chad.
A Chadwick is also what they call the part of a candle that you light called Chad.
Stay on target.
So. Basically, then I'm sitting. So the nurse is like, "Okay, Josh," and then the doctor comes in and he's like. Jesse, what's going on? And I'm like, what the fuck? How did he know Jesse? I've been telling people I was Josh. And so I said, oh, Jesse. But then I knew the jig was up. They knew who I was. And so I was just like trying to put the pieces together. Like, I know that I'm a national treasure. I know that the U.S. has made several, not just one stamp with my face on it, but like 10 different, stamps biannually with my head on it. It's great. The new 34 cent Jesse Camp stamp is Jesse Camp stamp for all you tramps. Okay, enough rhyming.
I have a camp stamp over my butt.
Jeff does have a camp stamp from the time he was with my mom, and I didn't understand the relationship at the time. Now I do. It was a very beautiful Harold and Maude type of deal.
Back on target.
Back on track. Okay, so the doctor was like, okay, Jess. So again, I had said that my name was Josh to the nurse, and then the nurse was like, Josh. Okay, Josh, why don't you come back here with me? And then she came in, Josh, the doctor will see you now. Oh, okay, cool. Hey, I'm Josh. I'm getting a bit of a sinus infection. I just need some antibiotics. I didn't rush to that part yet. Never self-diagnose yourself at the doctor's office. That is a sure way to not get the prescription you're trying to get filled. Don't go in there and be like, let them assess your back pain. Just look real grimacing in the face so they really believe you're in pain. Don't oversell it. Okay. That's to my homes in New Hampshire and West Virginia. You know who you are at the pill mill, but back on track. I'm just kidding. Who am I to throw stones? What I'm really getting at is that, I'm like lost in Fontana, in California, end up at a hospital in Riverside. Basically, the doctor had seen something about me being missing on TMZ. I had no clue in the 9 days since I had lost my phone that somehow, I had been reported on, on people.com, does the dick meet the expectations of the foot size website, dick it or stick it? I mean, no, what am I talking about? I'm sorry, guys.
Dick it or stick it is something. I think we can make some money.
Dicker or sticker, I think it's definitely
your doctor
a grinder swipe left or right.
Your doctors at the ER had seen you on TMZ.
They had seen me, and so they were so actually really, really super cool. They brought me 2 meals of hospital food. I didn't ask. They were just they were super cool. They were basically they owned a sports bar and Kid Rock came in there.
Yeah.
They were they were dope. They were just you want some Dilatins? And I was just no, all right, sure.
They bring them out
what's the street value? Yes, I'll take it. But no, they were really, really cool and really sweet and really encouraging. And they said, honestly, something along the lines of, that you have a good soul and you're a good kid. And not kid, because I am definitely now I'm into halftime show, but I'm 39 years old, so 40 is the halftime, and then you know what I mean. If life is a football game or a Super Bowl, but back at the matter at hand, and again, I'm totally be honest. That's a self-defense mechanism to kind of to try to put some humor on this, because these, it is rough talking about this is necessary, but. These were beyond humbling times, growing times, and times when, all of this in the end is good because
But in that moment, were you irritated? It's okay if the answer is yes, because at the time it's like
I was a little
oh, I'm here by choice and I don't want to be rescued, and it's embarrassing that people I can imagine that would be very humiliating. And maybe angering.
When you find out you're a missing person when you were just at the end of a year and a half drug odyssey, and that ends in again Fontana. It's right off the 10, by the way. Fontana is that beautiful hamlet between Ontario and San Bernardino. Okay,
so again, if you want to go to Fontana, take the 10 freeway.
There's nothing fun about it. It's a lot heavier on the fond, as in dude. Fondue is chocolate and cheese, and fondue is
and it has some alcohol in it.
Okay, final thought. We have to wrap up here, though.
We do have to wrap up.
I know, and I will, like a fucking condom about to go into Heidi Fleiss.
I don't want to write your story for you, but we're looking for that moment of the crossing of the return threshold where you're
absolutely,
okay,
absolutely.
I'm coming back.
Absolutely. I got that moment for you and more.
Jesse,
I'm going to pull a Stefan.
Jesse,
Redemption is a Lower East Side New York bar where there are lots of midgets that wear fanny packs.
Jesse, I have to say,
bit.
the day that you called me up and you had been gone for a while, and you called me up, you couldn't have made.
I gotta say, yeah, that the feeling that hit me, I think I know where you're getting at, Jeff, is that when the doctors they really showed a lot of love, and that's I had no idea that I was missing when I had checked out of the planet or lost my phone. I definitely wasn't in the headspace of thinking that there's a big world out there that cares about you or that you're significant. You know what I mean? I definitely felt like
the opposite.
Broken. I felt, almost to the point of, here's the thing, is that if you have nothing to lose, there's a real freedom with that. I mean, like Chris Christopherson, freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose.
You probably thought you were doing yourself and other people a favor.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't care anymore, and
You probably felt more honest than you had been. You felt like that's the riveting part of this. Like, I feel this way so much, and like I want to hear from people that have gone and come back.
Yeah.
So sorry to interrupt, but
no, not at all. I mean, that's definitely a sign of of not being. No, let's just call it what it is. I mean, you're depressed. If you lose your phone and you don't want to like immediately go to an Apple store or AT&T or Sprint or whomever you get your phone from. Again, if
Cricket
you
Wireless
want a good phone at a relatively cheaper price than even offer up, the 24-hour AutoZone in Fontana has all your needs. Mobile mechanics to grind with. Transgendered.
They got
ballerinas.
mechanics to grind
as
with?
you felt that feeling when you felt that very complicated, layered feeling of I lost my phone, and for the first time in my life, I feel like actually maybe that's the way to go. I feel good.
My life,
those things.
like,
is there a return threshold equivalent? I'm just a screenwriter from the Sid Field School. Like,
to paint a picture to really be just blunt about where I was prior to this.
Did you save a cat at any point? No, that's a screenwriting joke. Okay, continue. Sorry.
No, I mean,
no. Sorry, don't get distracted by that. It didn't even get a laugh, so not worth it.
Well, just to add to that, I'd like to think I didn't save a cat, but I sure ate a pussy.
You shouldn't have, and that's not story structure. That's a different thing.
Yes,
it's a dialectic about. Okay,
that
go
was
ahead.
not bad. But here's the thing, and believe me, man, like Bruce. I don't even mean to even remotely think that I'm like on the level of like a beautiful soul like a Bruce Springsteen. But to be really honest, I was just so broken that I was kind of wandering the streets of Fontana, kind of like Bruce Springsteen in the streets of Philadelphia video, where I believe, from the movie where Tom Hanks has AIDS and he knows he's not gonna survive that, and you're just pulling back from life in a way. I mean, I was just at a point where I was almost, and I don't, man, I was just at my threshold of what I could endure. But the thing is that having the strength to endure, I want to let everyone in this room know that, like, I was just depressed, but never in a bazillion years would I ever, no matter the level of depression, and this is not also me passing judgment on people that check out and can't take it. But I still know, even in my darkest hours, what a blessing it is to be alive. And, I'm very much, of the opinion of, like, if you've, they say this about successful people, that when you realize something's not going right, you can abandon it quickly, and that, the longer that if you're in a toxic relationship, but you put a lot of time in it, you're apt to stay in it longer because you've already invested this time, so you don't want to lose the time you already have, and that's why bad relationships kind of go on and on and on forever.
And what if you feel that about your life?
Well, I'll say this, Jesse, for myself, and I think for everybody, I love you.
Yeah.
And
no, I know that. And it's, I didn't mean to shut you off on that, Jeff. I know that. But I mean, to hear that from you, that's a heavy emotion. But I mean, it was it was beyond a life-changing experience, because I mean, I'm not saying that I was like a guy who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and like survived, and now
that's the danger to me. That's the thing, is that we a lot of us associate like the idea of these thoughts with
I was never ever
whether
gonna
to put a gun in your mouth, all that stuff, but like these decisions can be made in the I know exactly the feeling that you're talking about, where you're like, you know what? What if I was a fucking ghost? What if I didn't exist? And that's different from saying, I'm going to take proactive action to do this dramatic thing, because you're feeling the opposite of dramatic. Yeah. You're feeling worthless. You're feeling like it feels in those moments like not just liberation, but like a weird medicinal kind of like, this is it. This is what I need. This feels good.
Totally.
And I'm not going to say, no, it's not good, but I'm also going to say it's incredibly dangerous because you're alone. And so it was there. Was there a as much as where you came back?
Well, yeah.
Or have you been dragged back and we're going to lose you again to that?
Never. No. This, to be really blunt about that. And the other thing too is that I'm not anything coming out of my mouth. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I mean, like, there's definitely, the fun-loving side of me, but I mean, I'm, I'm experienced as far as like that you could, you know what? No, I'm not even going to say what I was going to say, but I could definitely just say that, like if I'm walking the streets in Fontana, I mean, like, I love to bring... I live like to put positive energy out there into the world. That's really the only reason to live life. Where I'm going with this all is that and this is really heavy, but I promise I didn't take you guys this far to abandon it. But the point I was trying to get at when I brought up that whole thing about successful people and then knowing how to quit early, but like that really, if you're following your heart and you've invested so much time in a bad relationship, you want to hang in there. Well, I mean, I'm very much like that in life. I didn't put in these 39 years to not, now I've been in it, that I'm definitely wanting to see it all the way till 80, maybe 90, or, with, head transplants, maybe 110, who knows? But where I'm really going with all this is that, it was for two things, and then I promise I'll wrap this up. But it was really, I think that what our subconscious do for us is sometimes incredibly protective, because I think in a lot of ways that I know this is going to sound crazy, but like I wanted to lose that phone and I wanted to go off the grid, because I ultimately wanted to get to that place. I wanted to make a low for myself and make that low as fast as I could, because I wanted to land and I didn't want to live the way that I had been living. And I just didn't, and I didn't want to numb the pain. That's basically all I did for like a year and a half, was just numb this emotional pain, didn't grow from it. My body was just, and subconscious and mind was just, telling me to let go. Because one thing I completely do believe in is that I think, and obviously if you were in 9/11 and you were with all that, the debris that was so cancerous, you're going to get cancer. But I do think
Sorry, that's probably a weird time to break that to you.
Oh, yeah. But that anger is a cancer. And so I really think that, long story short, that I needed to kind of like, go off the grid. But my thinking was just that I was going to do this. I was going to then, get a couple of days sober and then just continue on my journey. It was almost like wanting to get clean in like a cocoon. And I came out and I had no idea, what I told Jeff is true, that basically you would go on like, Instagram and you'd see like, like people would be like, oh, Nikki Sixx was, looking for you. And, when President Barack Obama was looking for you, you know what I mean? And Rex Tillerson was looking for you. What's the connection there? And I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, like, Rexy was always a big fan, you know? I mean, it was just like, he would be like, yo, Jess, get on the big Exxon Valdez cruise boat thing and let's party. I mean, but...
Rex Tillerson was looking for you.
Oh, man, me and Rex,
look, it's a hacky part of me that's like pushing through this weird return threshold thing. I think the incredibly valuable thing is the resonance of like everybody, whether or not they drop off the grid and go to Fontana, lose their phone or not, we constantly are combating this feeling of like, I'm a fucking ghost. I would be better focused and doing a better job. All this, it's like, it is possible to kill yourself with everyone's permission because you'd never checked with them, because you didn't talk about it. You can slip away into shadow and you don't perceive it as shadow. And I know that the whole time you're like, look, I never intended to do any of this. And I'm not telling you, no, you perceived it wrong. I'm saying the reason that story is so valuable is because I think everybody listening is constantly going like, what if I, and it's not always what if I did something dangerous, what if I did something, it's sort of like would anyone miss me? Like shouldn't I just be by myself? And there's a really fine line between that, like self-help and like the opposite.
And here's the thing is that, I mean, I think what it really boils completely down to in the soul and the spirit of us, of people, is having hope. Hope is everything. If you have hope will fuel positivity. I mean, one big lesson I learned from all of this is that mental health is the most important thing we have. And that, like your physical health, like you do have to exercise and be conscious of what you're eating. You know, mental health, I just always took it for granted before the last couple of years. And I realized that it's incredibly important to be social, to not self-isolate, and to be with all your friends and to live a full life and to say yes. And but more than that, I mean, it's a battle out there, and there's never been a harder time to be a human being. No, scratch that statement. I can't believe I was about to say there was never a harder time to be a human than 2019. What am I thinking, caveman? And like, you know, oh my God, I'm going to get trampled by a buffalo. Jeez,
let's give it up, everybody. Thank you for coming to Harmontown.
Jesse Camp, everybody. Thank you for being vulnerable, sharing your pain.
But before I go out on the music, I want to say, Jesse, I fucking love you.
I'm a lucky man to have
you're
these
the fucking
quality.
best. And anybody listening, if you ever get the lucky break to hang out with Jesse Kemp, you are a fucking lucky human being.
Well, a couple of things to plug, if I may.
Yes.
All right. I got a who here is a big Salt and Pepper fan? Well, yo, get this. It's not a competing podcast, but I have a Peppercast. That's right. Me and Peppa from Salt and Pepper.
What?
We are talking
Jesse Camp, everybody.
Yo.
This has been Harmontown. Spencer Crittenden. I'm Jeff Davis, Dan Harmon. But for real,
Baby George.
Jesse, you're a joy to know. You're a joy to be around, and I appreciate
Thank you guys so much.
To the bottom of my boots, man. Thanks
you all.
for the grill. Drive fast and take chances.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
I become emotional. Thank you all for coming. We love you. Zach, you got beats? There we are.